Okay, y'all. We're doing the end of the 2020 in the bag slash beginning of 2021, since I don't think this lineup is going to change dramatically in the near future. I rock a Prodigy backpack. Got a great deal on it. Thanks, Prodigy. And I've got my discs organized from slowest to fastest in order of stability, as I'm primarily a backhand player. So I always want to think about like how the shot is going to shape, left, center, or right, based on a backhand throw. And occasionally I've got discs that I'll use for specific forehand shots. Um, but we will start with the putting putters. Got a pair of um, T-Line P2s that I use. I've been working on getting Innova and Discmania out of my bag. The P2 is the only mold that I still have. Um, but I recently switched to these from a Discraft Focus, and it has made a huge difference, especially for like longer range putts. I can get a lot more spin and power on them. And yeah, so I keep a VIP harp in the bag for certain kinds of upshots. When I need something really beefy that's just going to hook up. Um, I have two more P2s. One that I've beaten pretty well, that's D line and is becoming a flippy putter for me. The other is an S line that's nice and stable. Um, and then I'll use both of them for approach shots or off the tee. Um, I've got a gold line Mercy here. I think every ultimate player should have this in their bag for a very specific shot. You'll notice that the edge is incredibly blunt. And so for that classic like OI ultimate breakthrow where you need to step out, get a ton of OI or Anheuser, um, this disc, one, if you get the angle wrong and it comes in too Annie, it's not going to cut it. Because of how blunt nose it is, it hits the ground and then slides out on it. But it's overstable enough that if you hit that angle right, it's just going to land softly for you right over the basket. That's not a shot that I think a lot of disc golfers think about, but I think for ultimate players, it's a throw we're very familiar with, and it's a disc that will respond really well to that shot. So definitely recommend that. In the mid ranges, I carry four. Um, I've got an Opto Anchor that is actually kind of worked its way out almost because it's getting too beat in that's almost flying straight at this point. So I think I'm going to look for something more overstable. If anybody has any recommendations for good, beefy mid, let me know on Twitter. We'd love to hear it. I rock a Goldwine Compass, and this thing just flies straight and true when I need to throw something hard for 300 or so, just dead straight. When I need to throw something soft straight, I'm going to throw a Comet. I've got two Comets. I've got an MJ 2020 series Comet and a Fish 2020 series Comet. I'm working on beating this one in to be more of a flippy turnover shot, and this is something that I can really throw hard for turnovers, just to get kind of what I refer to as the flip point, when that disc goes from being on hyzer to on hyzer. But yeah, really love throwing the Comet. I think ultimate players who are just transitioning should definitely get one because even though the grip might be a little weird compared to an Ultra Star in terms of flight, it's just so similar. Fairway drivers. I really love the Castleclass fairway lineup, so I have all of their fairway drivers. I am probably going to butcher the pronunciation because I don't speak Swedish. So if you know how to pronounce it, I would love to learn. Please let me know. In terms of the most overstable, I've got the Stall. Really use this for spike shots or also flex forehands. This is a really nice disc for. Yeah, love this thing. I've got a Charlie Goodpasture Watts. I try to support touring pros whenever they can. I think what they do is awesome. So even if I have no idea who they are, I've now watched stuff of Charlie since getting this disc, but I did not beforehand. This is a great disc. It goes really straight for about 250 to 300 and then starts to bite left, but much softer, whereas this is going to turn a lot sooner or fade a lot sooner if I'm using the terminology correctly. I've got an Opto River. And these are both in K1 plastic. I've got an Opto River that I'm really running to love. It's an understable driver that I'm just going to release on hyzer, flip up to flat, ride straight super nicely. And if I want a soft turnover line, this is really great for that as well. And then if I want to throw a much more aggressive turnover line, I've got the K1 Falk here. Yeah, this thing, I feel like it's almost getting more overstable as it gets in, which I've never seen before in the disc. So if you're a Falk thrower, I love to hear like what your experiences are with this disc as it kind of gets in. And that's what I use for the majority of my shots. I really don't use distance drivers except for wide open holes where the potentially less control that I'll have is worth the risk / reward of potentially getting the distance. I don't have the consistency yet with distance drivers that they will always fly further than my fairly good. So, you know, I've got a tournament at Iron Hill coming up this weekend. Everything you just saw up to this point is going to be in my lineup. I'm not going to bring any of these. But I have a ESP Zeus, which is a nice meat hook just for upwind shots. If I want to throw something dead straight, I've got the Katrina Allen 2020 X3. This thing just rides super straight. And then my Grim X, the flight numbers are very confusing. This thing is actually very flippy. It's a little less flippy than Thrasher, which I used to bag before I lost it at Tyler State Park. So if you find it, please give it back to me. And yeah, that's kind of all the discs I've got in my bag. I always keep a pocket full of minis. Shout out to Greens Go, the former top women's team here in Philly. Got a little trilogy mini, and then I played a Castoplast bingo event, which is a really cool format, and got a mini from that. I always keep my trusty massive Nalgene water bottle. I usually drink one of these around, especially during tournament play. And then I always keep at least one towel, usually more, in the bag. My staple towel is this one, which I got from Brian Bakatin. He is a local guy who has a store and runs events here in the kind of Pennsylvania area. He runs some great beginner events. There's one coming up at the beginning of next year called Tyler A-Holes, where he gives out a ton of merch, which is where I got that from, the 2020 edition. So if you're a beginner, definitely check out that tournament and check out Brian's stuff. He's got a great shop, does new and used discs, and runs great events. Yeah. I keep a little crossbow in my bag because this gets stuck in trees and it's a great way to get it down. And yeah, I think that's it. If you want to follow along with my adventure as a disc golfer, my PDGA number is 141218. So thanks for watching, and see y'all out there.